Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip, and I thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your day as always. So, guys, I got a little emotional. I was listening to Morbid's live stream from the beginning, and he was talking about how Nina and I were passionate. A lot of us, but he had specifically mentioned Nina and I, and Becca Scoops, and a lot of people that are passionate about Nick's justice and what that looks like, and how everybody's version of that is a little different. And I thought to myself, my dad would be proud of me, because my dad, as you guys know, he was in prison, and they called him Doc, and he was Doc, not because of anything physical, but because he would listen to people and help them out with their problems. He didn't have that patience at home until he got older, because when he left prison, he worked hard, and he made a lot of money, like I had said. And anyway, so I think that was one of the reasons why I wanted to start working in the jail. So I wanted to always be fair to the inmates, because I knew that not every inmate was a bad person, but that they had made bad choices. So I want to be clear in what justice for Nick looks like to me, what I want it to be. And I want his mitigating circumstances to be considered. So if the judge were to take those into consideration, and if he were to have a more fair trial, and the stuff with GYPSY were to have come out and had been exposed as we see them today, if the judge were to say 25 years, then that's what I think Nick should have gotten. I know that there are people, unfortunately, that do unalive people, and they do get sentences like that. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm not trying to change the law per se with Nick. I'm just trying to change what happened with Nick so that he gets a fair shot. So I don't think that Nick should run the streets, but I think that maybe an ankle bracelet on Nick, because he's convinced that he unalived Dee Dee. So, I have a problem with anybody that, is convinced that they did that, because I don't know what it would take for them to do it again. The perfect storm again? I don't know. Would I feel safe? Would I feel responsible if he were to get out and do something and I stood on the side of, I want his freedom? Absolutely I would. I think the judge should decide. But I think it should be decided fairly. I think it should be reconsidered. I think the mitigating circumstances, all of them, including the grooming of Gypsy Rose for the 2+ years that she did with him, all of that should be considered. The letters that she wrote to his parents should be considered. Everything should be considered. That's what I would like to see happen. And the fact that she didn't have Munchausen by proxy, perhaps she had Munchausen. That's what people in my chats, in my comments are saying, is perhaps it was reversed. So I think that the circumstances should come out, and the fact that she lied and manipulated and did it to a whole country, a whole world. So she fooled everybody. She fooled a guy with autism who says he was in love with her. That needs to be heard and reconsidered. Imagine if Nick were to get out under a supervised living circumstance and to talk about what happened to him. He could be used in such a way that would be fulfilling to him, I would think. I think he wants to do more good. He would be able to do that by talking about what happened to him, if he could do that. Even if he couldn't do that, he deserves for his circumstances to be considered, because his mitigating circumstances are more valid. They are real. And Gypsy's were fake. And she got out in 8.5 years based on hers. So let his be heard fairly and truthfully and honestly. And let him do something with his life, because I honestly think he has something to offer. I think he has something to offer. And you know, he put himself out online when he was a kid trying to share his music and stuff and just be an innocent kid and trying to just enjoy. And then he met GYPSY. You know, I'm not saying Nick is an innocence and vanilla. No, I've heard of the videos between him and GYPSY. I don't know what to say about those, to be honest with you. You know, people sext and people send videos to each other all the time. I don't know how much we didn't see or we didn't hear or weren't on those messages, but maybe we're on another message type device. I don't know. Nobody knows, right? Except those two. So I just want to see him get a fair shot. You know, she's out there living her best life, and what if she really does have Munchausen? Now she has a kid, so that's scary. That's really scary. I never gave thought to her having the Munchausen. But you notice how she mentions everything in the book in that FOIA, when she's talking to Aaliyah, that her mom has all of these things? I don't know. Anyway, guys, something to think about. I just wanted to share with you, maybe, you know, you can understand. I have met a lot of inmates in the jobs that I have taken, in the positions that I have held, because I've worked directly with the inmates. I've listened to the inmates. I've heard their hopes and dreams. They worked side by side with me. They were my employees inside of the jail, you know. And a lot of them spoke to me like a friend would speak to a friend. You know, a lot of them would work for years with me. So not every inmate is a bad person, but there are some that are, right? So I don't know. Nick just strikes me as somebody that just got caught in the perfect storm and totally taken advantage of. And I don't know what happened that night. I don't know. I don't know what happened that night. But I don't think that... I don't know what happened that night. I just think that Nick needs a fair shot. And whatever that looks like, that's what I want it to look like. You know, just to be reconsidered. So, guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I figured I would let it all hang out and let you know probably why I am, you know, stuck on this. I believe people can change. All right, guys, we'll be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow.